Okay.
Are we rolling?
We're rolling.
We're rolling.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. I'm Peggy.
And I'm Amanda.
And you're watching the Junction Fiber Mill Millcast.
And for those who haven't been tuning in for 120 odd episodes, we are a small wool mill in Vermont, kind of on the New Hampshire border. Yeah. And we do a variety of things here, but we started doing custom processing for area sheep farmers.
Which means they bring us the raw wool, and they still do bring us their raw wool from their sheep. Mm-hmm. And through the magic of the mill, we give them back spectacular yarn, usually yarn, a little bit of roving, and that's what hand spinners work with. But mostly, I'd say 95%, it's giving them back gorgeous yarn.
And then we got into playing with the dyes, and we started making our making tracks, which you can see on the shelf behind us. And through going to fiber festivals and meeting folks there, that whole business sort of took off.
Yeah, it took off. We're in lots of local yarn shops around the country. You might check out your own local yarn shop and see if they've got our yarn.
And we also sell yarn on our website.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think that was the condensed version.
There you go.
Oh, and we should say we're two friends.
Yes, not daughters and mothers. It's just two good friends.
Yeah.
And we met in, what did we decide? We met in 2018.
Something like that.
Yeah, we met in 2018 is when you bought the yarn from me.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a flock of sheep. You now have a flock of sheep.
Yeah, a very small flock of sheep. I have my 5 sheep. They keep the meadow mode.
Yeah. I have to say, lambing season is coming at us fast.
I don't do lambing season. I did it once.
Yeah. Anyway, how you doing?
I am good. Let's see.
We should say we're dressed in business attire. This is like Vermont business attire.
I know. I'm wearing not a hand knit. I don't even know. Yeah, it is business attire. What's really business attire is that I curled my hair.
Oh.
Peg's like, I didn't notice.
No. Yeah. Well, I noticed it was different. I didn't know it involved hardware.
It involved hardware. I feel like a lot of mixed feelings about it because on the one hand, I'm like, oh, now I don't have to worry about my hair looking weird because I spent 3 minutes curling it. But I'm also like, I don't want people to know I spent 3 minutes doing my hair.
Oh, that's okay. I want people to know I put lipstick on. I never wear lipstick except for the Millcast.
I know. Yeah. I've been thinking a lot about this lately because there is something, I want to say when I lived in New York City, this thought did not cross my mind. I was like, oh, I'll do my hair if I want to do my hair. But there's something funny about living in Vermont where the beauty standards are pretty complicated.
Yeah.
Well, but they're okay.
They're
you're doing this, but actually
it's low compared to.
But it's I would say it's still. I don't think that is lower or higher. I think they're just different.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is actually there's a weird thing about wearing any sort of makeup or looking like you put an effort in that I think people look down on you here because they think oh, you must not be someone who can hack it in this landscape or you're not a farmer if you whatever. At least this is how I feel is there's a pressure to just be naturally gorgeous in Vermont and not look like you put an ounce of effort into it. But that is actually harder to do sometimes than just curling your hair when it looks like a bedhead when you woke up.
Bedhead, I love it. I'm just trying to think of the folks that I've run into or, at King Arthur or whatever. I actually am surprised at how many women I see who are wearing mascara. Mm. Just for an ordinary day. Mm-hmm. And young people wearing mascara. I don't know. But anyway, this I should say I'm wearing the Junction Fiber Mill hat. This was a jacket that you put together it was sort of our holiday gift for all the employees this past year.
Yeah,
and I love it.
It's wool, so
it's wool and it's black. Yeah.
I should say what I'm working on right here.
Yeah, you making progress?
I am. I made so much progress. So this is my Stockholm vest, and I've made inches of progress.
Okay, yeah.
You're giving. This is
hours
of knitting.
I'm agreeing.
I mean, maybe in the past. Oh gosh, I just realized I dropped a stitch.
No!
Pick that up. You know why I dropped a stitch? This is a great. Okay, so first of all, this is the Stockholm Slipover V-neck by Petite Knit. It's made in our Jacob twist yarn, which is absolutely gorgeous. I love it, and you've been hearing about it for weeks and weeks and months because I'm a slow knitter right now because I have.
Yeah, but what's exciting is that we're also in shearing season, and this came from Hogwash Farms over in Norwich, Vermont, and hopefully I'll get an email from Leslie soon that shearing day is coming.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so what's the story?
Okay, why did I drop a stitch?
I'm amazed you could even see it because the way that's marled, it wouldn't have been so easy.
So I have become a knitter that can knit in the dark, so I think. And so I, last week, now I can't, I'll find it.
That was right there. Go back. I thought
I'm going to find
okay.
it.
All right.
Anyways, I'm putting that down for right now.
Yeah.
The reason I dropped a stitch, and I'm not surprised, is that I went to see a play last week in Randolph, at Randolph's Chandler Center for the Arts.
Yep.
It was a production of Our Town featuring the music of Noah Kahn between the different acts. There's 3 acts in Our Town.
Yeah.
I've never seen it. But my very good friend Rita was acting in it, played Mrs. Gibbs, I think, one of the 2 wives in the play. And so it was really fun. So Noah Kahn, if you've been living under a rock, is our local rock star. Basically.
Rock star, big deal.
Yeah, he's a big deal.
He's kind of a big deal, Noah Kahn.
He's from just up the road.
It's just up the road, and I just love that he wrote a song called Stick Season.
We had the yarn first.
Yeah, you're right. But I mean, you have to be from Vermont to know what stick season is.
And if you're, a yarn fan, a Junction Fiber Mill fan, you'll know this is also stick season, which is inspired by actually the weather that we're kind of approaching.
It sort of begins once all the leaves have fallen and the snow has fallen, but the trees are all just sticks.
This is like stick mud season.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we are.
Anyways, that's a total diversion. So I went to see Our Town, and just another sidetrack. Noah Kahn apparently did come. Eleanor told me that the other day. He came on one of their last performances.
Excellent.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
So they meshed up Our Town with a couple Noah Kahn songs, which we were like, I don't know how we're gonna like that, but it worked out really well, and it was a sweet way to integrate like Vermont into the whole Our Town, which is I think set in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Anyways, so because the play started at 7 p.m. and was going to go well after the 9 o'clock hour, which is way past my bedtime, I brought my knitting. I was like, Cody, you cannot talk me out of this. I am bringing knitting. Because he's always like, ooh, it's disrespectful to the musicians or performers or whatever. But I was like, if you don't want me to sleep, I need to do this.
Okay.
Because I would literally be...
So you were knitting in the dark watching the play. Well, yeah.
And
you
so
better check and see there's a few.
I know. So now I have to check and see what I did.
I got to be honest with you. I couldn't do that.
But it's a round and round and round. And
I know. I'm not... I have so many good friends that can knit. They're just away knitting and yeah. I am...
Yeah,
which is why I do the audiobooks.
That you pay, but then again, the thing that you get is I knit several inches.
Yeah, no,
because
you were very productive.
I was productive, which is the most important thing a human can be. She said sarcastically.
Yes, sort of sarcastically. Anyway,
so now I gotta find that stitch and deal with it. But what are you knitting right now?
I'm still. I thought I would have the sleeve done. I didn't even bring it because, good God, do you really want to see me haul out the sweater I'm knitting for my son-in-law?
People are gonna see this.
I'm almost at the cuff.
You know what? Guess what? Sorry.
What?
It's not a drop stitch. It's just where I joined it and I didn't tie a knot.
Oh, ye of little faith. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm perfect. I'm perfect at knitting. I did get many people were looking at me when I in between the breaks. They're like, I can't believe you can do that in the dark. I was like, I'm not even gonna go into it, but I'm very wool, Amanda, wool.
Yeah, there you go. So I usually do audiobooks when I'm knitting, and I have a question I want to ask. Yeah, if it's an audiobook you've paid for, and you give it a good, whatever, say hour or 2 hours, and you don't like it, do you stop?
100%.
But I feel like, I paid for it, so I should go to the end. And I'm not going to say the book because I'm going to go it a little further, and maybe I'll turn out to love it. And if I do, I'll mention it to you. But I really, really am close to the and hit the button and stop.
Yeah, now I'm curious what it is, but I think
and it's not the narrator. Sometimes it's the narrator, and it's not the narrator. It's just the premise of the story. Anyway, I'd be curious if you stop.
You have more time for audiobooks than I do, so I can't speak to your level of important use of your free time.
Well, it's how I knit. I like to if I'm in an easy section of knitting, I like both. Listen to the two of them. I like to feel productive, and I feel more productive if
she mocks me, and then there she goes.
I know. I went rowing this morning, and what made me think of it is I was rowing, listening to the book, going, I don't know.
It sounds like the audiobook is actively taking away from your enjoyment of your...
Possibly.
Whichever one is your second... It sounds like your primary activity is the rowing or the knitting, and the audiobook is to keep you company. It's not the other way around. Yeah. So I think the point at which the secondary activity affects the quality of the first one, and instead of enhancing it, is when you
maybe that's the way I think. Yeah. Anyway.
Unless you have a book club you need to
No,
do
yeah,
this
yeah.
for,
No, not doing it for that.
I think you slog through when you have a book club.
Yeah.
But
anyway, moving on.
Speaking of making fun of ourselves and being self-aware,
Yeah.
I wanted to put a shout out to Julia C. for sharing the Little Red Glasses SNL skit, which I should send it to you, but I'll put up a clip of Liz and I just absolutely losing our minds laughing at this. There's an SNL skit about Little Red Glasses, which people sent to us because, you know,
hilarious.
And I felt so roasted. It was hilarious. But, you know, the like insinuation was, you know, basically it's for old ladies who want to feel like cultured and whatever. I was like, I feel seen as a basically like millennial retiree.
Well, that's funny.
It was hilarious. Funny. So I appreciate.
Can you put the link in the?
I'll put the link in the show
excellent.
notes. It's Lady Gaga's in it.
Oh,
she plays
excellent.
like an old lady named like Rahel or something.
Oh, so it's a relatively new.
I think it's a relatively new.
Oh, I love it.
Hilarious. And then I showed it to Cody. But the best thing about it, I have to say, and then Elise took a video of. She's the one who showed Liz and I. She took a video of us watching it at our little like workstation, which is kind of new for the mill. Like we used to mostly be running the equipment. Now we're back here. And it just like made me so chuffed that we have these like funny office moments now back here. So
we have several funny office moments.
It was great.
And what's kind of fun about it is there's we have a wide age range.
Yeah.
And so it's very funny to see the 60 plus telling stories and cracking up. It's just I love the age
It's really
spread.
fun. It's really fun. Anyways, so shout out to Julia C for sending
very
that.
good.
And,
so I was not in the mill recently. I was out the entire day. So I was at Eileen, my sister who works at the mill. The two of us went over to a shearing in Heartland, Vermont. It's not 15 minutes from here.
You picked the best day possible to do that.
60-degree weather.
Yeah.
It still was a little cool in the barn, but that's okay.
Sun,
Beautiful flock of Romney, and the ever so talented Gwen Hinman was doing the shearing. And for those of you who have enjoyed some of the Romney that we had this past year, this is the same flock.
I think we have just a little bit left on the shelf.
It's a great luster. So we've got some grays and we've got some white, and we'll get that in the queue. It'll take us a while to get to it, but it was really a fabulous day. And you know, shearing takes a while. It got really rocking and rolling by about 10, and I left there about 3:30 because it's just slow going. You're shearing the sheep, trimming their hooves, giving them a shot, and you know, then on to the next one. But anyway, it was a preview because our shearing at the farm is coming up really soon, and it will be the same.
And then Gwen comes over to my house afterwards, and I just got, I should tell you, I got a babysitter for part of that morning.
Oh, is that right?
I think maybe Maeve will come. I think she would get a kick out of it, but Lewis, I can't deal with Lewis in the mucky barn.
Yeah.
So Samantha, the babysitter you introduced me to, is going to come and watch the kids. Well,
it is interesting because I think Cody had sent a note to either
Cody's
Todd or
like on the team.
Well, like he like put the stake in the ground saying, "I'll be there for the whole time," and I'm thinking to myself, Did he discuss
he
that?
He ran it by me because he knows he's much more important than me at the shearing. But I was like, this is my day too, okay?
Yeah, right. So Cody actually gets in with the sheep that haven't been shorn yet, and he muscles them into the...
This is his workout of the month,
yeah, he muscles them, cajoles them to get to the front of the line.
Yeah. Nothing makes him happier than like shared labor. And there is something really fun to spending a day like where the whole neighborhood kind of gets
it's
together.
A community thing for sure. I will tell you though. So sorry, we're gabbing here like crazy.
So we never catch up anymore.
When I saw Gwen, who's going to be, of course, shearing in our house, I don't know. I was talking about the Whalen, the Russell Garden Center festival that we were at recently, and I described to her the grilled cheese sandwich, which was goat cheese, arugula, and fig jam.
Yeah.
As a grilled cheese sandwich, and she turns and she goes, "Well, isn't that the kind of sandwich you ought to have at your shearing?" Because I usually make some...
Hint.
Oh, it was more than a hint. I usually have some, just cold cut sandwiches. But Gwen clearly was like, I'll be looking for that grilled cheese sandwich. So
I know why she's saying that. Last year, what happened to the sandwiches?
Oh, did they fall over?
I think they fell over.
Yeah.
By the time I got there was none to speak of.
So I'm going to
cough it up with the sandwiches this
year. I guess I'll do the grilled cheese sandwich. We'll see. Anyhow, it's a great activity. Speaking of Whalen, we had a great time there. It was a bit ago, but great crowds. It was excellent. But this woman came by, cannot remember what made her say, "Oh, you need to see the label in my sweater." But, there's a lot of things that get revealed to me.
Yeah. I wonder why. We're all here gabbing about all of our...
Yeah, anyway, she pulls her sweater up and she tells me, I didn't get a great picture, but take a look. It says, "Carrie's therapy session."
Perfect.
Is that a fabulous sweater label? You know, if you're
going
to
to self-aware.
Yeah, and then you're going to give it as a gift, and you say, okay, it was, yeah.
Yeah,
I thought that was adorable.
I could call I've been tempted to like name sweaters like in Ravelry by whatever TV show I'd watch during them, or like whatever book. You know, you're like, this is my Game of Thrones. This took all of Game of Thrones.
My Game of Thrones sweater. That's a great idea.
That was that. I think when I was watching Game of Thrones, I was knitting that giant yellow coat that took me a million and a half years, and that was literally all of Game of Thrones. I
think if I had to name my son-in-law's sweater, even though the episodes are done, is Paradise. I don't know if you've streamed that. It's no, I can't remember the names of any of the actors, but man, I really enjoyed Paradise. Yeah. Anyhow, open house, good time.
Yeah, thank you everyone for coming to the open house this past weekend. We've got another one in mid-April. It's up on the events page on our website. But open house is always fun, and it's just the best time to come get the full tour of the mill and
absolutely.
shop and all that stuff.
Someone, I can't remember how, they sent me a message asking if we were doing an open house in May. We've got 2 festivals. We have the New Hampshire Sheep and Wool and Maryland.
Yeah, we think
and I'm not sure that we're going to do an open house in May, but stay tuned. We'll let you know if we do.
Yeah, definitely in like June and July.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Hey, drum roll. We've got something really, really cool.
I gotta put my knitting down first. Well, okay.
This is the origin.
First of all, I should, you saw this probably earlier in the episode. This is my tote basket. That is what I'm calling it. That I've been like carrying around. It's my go-to project basket because it's just the perfect size and it's so structured and it's so sturdy.
And when you set it down, it's just easy. It's not like having to open up.
Also a handle and this thing opens. So yes, we thought, because some of you have also said how much you liked this basket, that we would get in touch with the maker, Nicole, out of Connecticut. She goes by Colemama Creations.
Colemama Creations.
And we had her made 2 custom colorways.
Look at these. Are these gorgeous? Here, put yours right in there.
This is what we're calling the Aurora Borealis, because check this out. It is inspired by, and I think she nailed it, Aurora Borealis, one of our best-selling colorways of making tracks. Again, it's got the handles. Yeah. But I love how she integrated all these little bits and bobs of colors.
Yeah. And this one, if you can't guess it, come on. Take a look. Ta-da! One of our most popular Vermont Vice.
Yep.
And again, I think she just did a fabulous job.
Yeah.
We should say, I think they call it sail rope, but don't hold me to it. It's cotton and it's white, but then she hand dyes all the different colors, and then she's stitching it in the round.
And she's doing this all by hand, all herself out of her home, studio. So these are just so beautiful. She's been at many of the festivals that we attend, and people are always raving about her baskets. So I was so thrilled that she said that she could make us a custom run.
And what's fun is she had created. You'll see. Can you see some of them a little bit? We've got a handful of them now in stock, and when I was down at Whalen, she is a vendor of these baskets in stock.
Oh yeah, we have our full. It's just a limited run. We're just gonna do this one. So this is launching today, and again, we only have a few of each of them, but we'd love for you to have one if you wanted.
And I was down in Whalen, and I was going to be going down to Whalen. She's a vendor at Whalen, and you had said, "Can you bring them back?" And I was like, oh boy, that's going to be but I had the U-Haul truck, and so at the end of the day, I went over to her stall, which she always sells out. Mm-hmm. She has, small, medium, large, and always at the end of festivals, she's sold out. And she says, I've got them. I have them in these big boxes. And I said, I have plenty of room in the U-Haul truck. I got an extra long one. So Todd and I got those and put them in, and we were able to bring them up to Vermont.
Yeah.
So that you can have them.
And if you want, they've got a little loop you can put your yarn through. I don't really use this because I feel like scared I'm going to want to switch projects in the middle and be tied to the basket.
Oh, that's
But this is to keep your ball of yarn like in your basket and untangled. So anyways, I absolutely love mine. As y'all know, these are going to go for sale today on sale today at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
So if you want one, special Junction Fiber Colemama Creations.
Yeah, jump on it. We want to give you we're going to do a sneak peek here.
Yes. So next
this is so exciting.
We wanted to let you know in advance because, again, limited thing. Do you want to start with this?
Yeah, I want to tell you, 'tis the season. If you're driving around Vermont and it's at all warm outside, you're seeing puffs of smoke, billows of smoke coming out of the trees.
Steam.
Well, it looks like smoke, but it is, in fact, steam. And they're called...
And you smell the sweetness?
You can often smell the sweetness. It's sugar shacks. It's people who are boiling down their sap. In my neighborhood alone, I can tell you there are 3 significant sugar shacks, and one of them is just down the road, Miller Road. George and Linda Miller.
Literally, like the closest you can get to Peg's house.
And they do a commercial run of boiling down sap. And I'm going to hold up this jar.
Oh, we should have thought to have a live taste test here.
Ooh.
Maybe next week.
So George boiled it. We're going to bring you his story.
This is 2025 vintage.
This is straight from the trees. I was there when this was being boiled. So it's 8 ounces of pure gold. If you haven't had real Vermont maple syrup, oh my God, it's in a league of its own. Mm-hmm. So anyway, everybody is boiling this. And as some of you may know, there are different shades that talk about the kind of sugar that's in it. So the very first that gets boiled is sort of what it's called, it's Vermont Grade A Amber Rich. So it's a very pale color. And then as the season goes on, the sugar, the makeup of the sugar changes in the trees. And so as it boils down, it gets to a darker and darker color. And there are people who like the darker versus the lighter, but the lighter is the gold standard, if you will. So we went to George and said, can we order up 8-ounce jars of this? And I went over and saw him doing it, and I helped put the labels on, and we canned it all up. And why wouldn't we also create a yarn to go with?
All right, so we have our Sugar on Snow.
Sugar on Snow.
Yarn, which is a roots yarn, which means, again, it's a non-variegated but same base as our making tracks.
Yeah,
but this one is marled. So we have one undyed strand and one just dyed a perfect amber gold. And we thought, what better for sugar season than a hat?
Yeah,
we've got my favorite petite knit Oslo hat. Oh my gosh, this is so cozy. I want to make one of these. Yeah. Liz knit this one for us in a hurry because we wanted to be able to show you right away.
It's adorable.
And it's a petite knit Oslo hat that you can make with the 2 skeins of the roots yarn.
And
it comes with the maple syrup. And we've got it all bundled up in a beautiful box.
But this is just a sneak peek because it's going to be
next week. But I want to let you know about it because, again, we made what we made and we have what we have of the maple syrup. So if you want this,
mark your calendar.
Mark your calendar for next Tuesday, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Sugar on Snow. Woo.
Very fun.
Yes, and speaking of bundles, we should remind folks there's one more week to get your ghost horses. That's the back. We should flip it around. To make your ghost horse build your own bundle and save 10% on the yarn. So this is again the Carnival with our undyed Blueface Leicester blend.
Right.
And it's just a fabulous stranded colorwork pattern. I mean, you're going to get 1.5 million compliments in this sweater if you make it.
I love this. And it was knit in my size, so I'm thrilled. This, and it's because it's in the sport weight. Even though it's stranded, it's nice and light. It's yummy.
It's so yummy. So there'll be information linked about how to do that as well. Where are we here?
We're here.
Okay.
Give us an update.
Yes. Knit for Food. So at the time of this recording, we have 16 supporters to our Knit for Food campaign.
Fabulous.
And we've raised $2,480. There'll be an additional, I think it's about $600 donated from Junction Fiber Mill because we sold out of our Knit for Food yarn and we were doing 20% of that to the campaign. So I have to move that into Knit for Food this week.
Yep.
So we want to say thank you. And there's absolutely still time to donate to our campaign. Again, that is a knit-a-thon event held on April 5th. That is all the money raised goes directly to support 4 charities that are working to end hunger. Both, with a national focus, but there's international organizations as well. So we hope you join us to either knit on April 5th or just donate to our team so we can raise our goal of $7,000 this year.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
And it's in the show notes below. You'll see it.
Yep.
Yeah. So we'll continue our, we've done what we're knitting.
Yep.
So why don't we continue our relatively new tradition here of showing you what's going on in the mill. And this time I'm going to walk you through and show you what's there. All right, you're looking at some gorgeous jet black Romney that we're getting ready to scour. The tips are light like that because the sun has bleached it. But this is how it's coming off the animal in this gorgeous dark, got a little bit of gray going. We're in the middle of getting it scoured. You can see some that's hanging here, ready to be rinsed. And in these other sinks, it's being scoured. We get 180-degree temperature along with our detergent, and it really helps break down the lanolin. We're filling up the sink right now. And then if we go into the mill, we can see that we're getting ready to do some spinning. I'm going to show you the color we're doing. This is our Roots Blueberry. God, I love this blue. If you come back around, Sophia and Emma are working on how to do the setting for the machine. and directly across is our terrific aubergine. It looks splotchy, you know, irregular colors, but we're going to pin draft this several times and it'll blend into a really fantastic a purple color, calling it aubergine. This is the back side of the pin drafter, and then coming around to the front, this is where it will come out super blended, and it'll come up and drop into our can coiler. And directly across from the pin drafter, we are applying our Midnight Plum light. So you can see and hear the machine is going down. It's a 2-ply, and it descends down and is loading up the bobbins. Isn't that fabulous? Okay, that was the tour of what's going on in the mill.
Thanks, Peg.
Easy peasy. All right, we will see you next week.
Sometime. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take care, folks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.